Welcome and thank you for joining me, Alyssa Arundell, for your June 2020 tarot card reading. If you haven't already and you'd like to check out your free 3-card tarot spread, you can do so in the description box beneath this video. These are not generic readings. Every outcome is written for the tense that it is made for. So you get a real clear insight into your own situation, absolutely for free. And please, I'd be honored if you pressed the subscribe button and notification bell so that you get alerted every time Patrick and I drop a new video. But without further ado, let's get into our reading for June 2020. Hello Aries, and welcome to your June 2020 tarot card reading. Let's see what this month holds for your energy, lovely Aries. So the card that comes up in your immediate future here, we had the Page of Wands, but he was reversed. Usually the Page of Wands can indicate somebody in our lives who is a fire sign. They can be very creative, somebody who has a lot of energy and ideas. Because you are a fire sign, Aries, this could well represent you. The fact that you're reversed could mean in some ways that you feel your creativity is a bit stuck and you don't necessarily have the tools at your disposal to be able to move forward with a project or idea that you have. So let's see what else is blocking you here. You have the King of Swords. This could be a figure in your life who is authoritative, usually can represent a male, so it could be a father, an uncle, perhaps somebody who doesn't quite approve of your choices or decisions. I feel that this could be past stuff though. It's almost like there's a need to please this person. But at the end of the day, Aries, you've got to go with what your gut is telling you to do. You can't please all of the people all of the time. Let's see what your foundation card is, Aries, because this is what your life is built upon at this moment in time. Okay, the card we have comes up here is the Ace of Cups. This card is also reversed here. I feel like it's almost like this could be to do with a lover. Is there someone who you're interested in at the moment who is not available, Aries? Or is there something that you want to go for, again, reiterating that you can't quite go for? The Ace of Cups is very much about our cup feeling full, and when it's reversed, it isn't necessarily a bad thing because the card is so positive, but it can mean that in a worst case scenario that you feel as though your resources are leaking everywhere, right? Because your cup's upside down. So it's just about this month, I really feel it's focusing on turning your world in a different way so that you can keep control more of some situations, whether this be romantic situations, financial situations. I feel you've got to have a really sort of good chat with yourself in some way, and I don't mean that to sound harsh. It's a bit of tough love, but I feel like your energy is being drained somewhere and you've got to find where the leak is and then patch it up. So in your past here, wow. So this is interesting for a past card. And when this card appears, it's like things move at a very fast pace. This is about boom, 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 things going very quickly. Maybe you haven't been able to quite catch your breath with something happening in your situation. Perhaps it's felt a bit like you've been on a roller coaster and you're not really 100% sure where to go next. I feel like some of the choices or decisions that you wanted to make have been maybe taken out of your hands a little bit, Aries. So that is a past card. So spiritually crowning you, though, we have the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups can be very romantic. So this could indicate a love interest. Somebody who writes poetry, says all the right things. I don't feel like they're untrustworthy, but they may be a little cavalier, right? Even you know, he's even jumped off the deck because he's he's that cavalier. It's kind of like, you know, imagine someone who can talk the talk, but can they walk the walk, right? So don't get too carried away if this is a person. Just still remain very rooted and grounded. If it doesn't represent a person and it does represent a situation, again, it's that saying, you know, if it's too good to be true, then it may well be. But that's not to put a downer on your situation. It's just to say, keep a bit of realism around you. Your immediate future here is the Five of Coins. Again, this is about managing your resources in some way, Aries. I feel like when this card comes up, it's like, are we giving more than we are receiving? There's an imbalance somewhere. There's a leak, like we said with this Ace of Cups. There's something going on that you need to patch up. And when this card appears, it can well be to do with your financial situation. Are things running away with you too much? Getting advice from a qualified person could be the first step in really getting things sorted. You know, if you're not 100% sure where to turn to next, there's always people to reach out to. And sometimes it's just about getting away from the ostrich syndrome, you know, taking your head out the sand. Again, this sounds a bit harsh, but it's not meant to be. This is, you know, you're so used to doing things by yourself, I feel, and used to sorting out your own problems, but it is okay to ask for help, Aries. Your state of mind here is the Page of Cups. Again, this could represent a youth. This is love. I feel like this is a budding romance of some kind, but very much like the Knight of Cups, he can say or she can say the right things, but are they actually able to live up to the expectation that they've created? You know, are they a Mr. Darcy character, really? I feel like you're toying with the idea of perhaps this new love. I think for a lot of you, Aries, it is definitely to do with a new love interest. I do think the person that comes in can well sweep you off your feet, you know, the throes of romance. But over time, I think there could be a bit of naivety about them and a bit of immaturity, but, you know, we can all grow and learn. Again, if this doesn't represent a person in your life, Aries, I think this is just that wishful thinking, that wanting to turn your life around, being more up in the ethereal realms of the mind rather than in the practical. And again, it's not a criticism. There is a time and a place for that spiritual, watery, psychic part of ourselves, but I do think for you it's about putting that in a rooted way as well, so that you're balanced. For your outside influence, oh my word, you have a lot of people interfering or not, you know, necessarily again in a bad way, just, you know, there are a lot of people with things to say. This is the Queen of Cups. It could represent how you are feeling, but I do think that this, if it is a person in your life, it's likely to be a female. It's very nurturing, very warm, very kind. I'm thinking like a mother or grandmother, aunt, or just a very good best friend, just someone that you can definitely rely on. I think they could offer you some wise counsel in terms of your romance and love life. Again, if it's not a person, I do think things will become clearer for you in terms of your relationships. And this doesn't just have to be romantic relationships, but I do feel that that's at the forefront. If you're already in a relationship, then, you know, relationship matters can still be on the mind. So I think, again, reaching outside for counsel could be something that's really beneficial. Let's have a look at your hopes and fears here. Well, we have the Seven of Wands here. So I see this as a bit of a fear for you, Aries. It is a wand, so it's fire like you. But the Seven of Wands is really about standing up for ourselves, standing up for our morals, standing up for our beliefs, not letting people take away, you know, what you've worked hard for. This is about, are you letting some of your own morals slip by the wayside just to appease somebody else. If that's the case, I think it's time to be more vocal. If it is one particular person in your life who's making it difficult for you to be vocal, then perhaps it's about rethinking the role that this person plays in your life. If it is a situation, I think it could be around work in some way. Do you feel that you're not being treated fairly? Are your co-workers being treated differently to you? Are your friends being a bit off with you? You know, whatever the situation, this will be different from person to person because this is a generalized reading, but I do feel that this month there is going to be a real need to stand up for yourself and say, hey, you know, that is not okay. And then the outcome we have for you is the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is actually a really cool card. He is very quirky. He thinks outside the box. He likes to experiment with fashion. And so in that regard, it could be time for you to have some kind of makeover. That could be really a fun thing to play with. If it doesn't represent that part of your personality, Aries, then the Hanged Man can mean that we just have to meditate about a decision. If this is about moving job, moving a relationship in some way, changing things up, you don't have to make a decision straight away. There's a difference between standing up for yourself and making a decision straight away, right? Like if something isn't working for you, you don't just have to cut cords and run. This card is saying that might not be the best course of action. But standing up for yourself definitely is still possible, even if you're not walking away from something completely. So I feel for you, Aries, this is particularly a month of revelation, self-expression, romance on the cards, but do remain true to yourself and don't let your moral compass be swayed by any outside people. Thank you so much for joining me here this month. I really do appreciate you spending your time with me. If you would like to book a one-to-one session with me, I will leave that information in the description box. You can also order your digital tarot card reading, which is emailed directly to you. So if you want to check that out, also prices are very affordable. I'll leave that in the description box too. But until we speak again the next time, I'm wishing you lots of peace and stay safe. Warm wishes, Alyssa.